today offers a perfect opportunity to journey back in time. So just coming onto this property, you leave the city of Newport News. We're on the last acre of Warwick County. So Warwick County, the rules don't apply. We're here. Our gathering at this historic courthouse on the last acre of Warwick County, it was once treasured and idyllic. It still maintains its charm in a somewhat forgotten suburbia. We're lost here. I remember when they came to protest the monument out there, the people coming to protest could not find it. So the stagecoach once traversed through this area. It made the daily stop at the tavern across the street, and it welcomed travelers from near and far. The circuit court would convene every few weeks, drawing crowds. Judges, court officials would be present. Others came that had business before the court. Some were eager to come and just watch the court proceedings. Others were hoping to sell their goods and wares, offer their services or labor. Court day transformed this small courthouse square into a lively hub of activities, and that went on for more than a century here. After the consolidation, the community would celebrate Denby Day around the courthouse square, culminating in a memorable photo from 1963, which I can share if you want. It captures a standing room only crowd inside the walls at the height of the event. The entire acre here behind the wall was full of people. Today we sort of tread lightly on this courthouse. Its glory days have faded. The traffic has slowed, except it really hasn't across there. Let us take a moment and recall when this courthouse was the seat of governance and power, representing Denby at the heart of local government, just as the wily citizens of Old Warwick County intended. There truly was no place that was exactly like here. So a little bit of society business, if we can. I watched online as the city council voted to approve the third extension of our lease on the 1810 courthouse. As long as we remain responsible tenants, which is a challenge for us, we will continue our lease through December of 2030. That is very nice. And we hope to have extensions beyond. So we are solid for the next 5 years here on this property. Nice to meet you. Thank you. So we appreciate the confidence the city has in us freestaters here. The January edition of Mulberry Island Notes is now available on your table. Special thanks to Dawn Worsham for her article, and to Mary Kay for her keen editing skills. I say she's brutal, but the featured article written in 1942 gives you a perspective from that time period that Warwick had little changed. Well, that has really gone by the wayside, but it's nice to get a perspective from 1942. It was a well-written article. One of the things I enjoyed about it was the journalist who came into the court building and described what he saw in here, which, we have almost no pictures of what the inside looked like, the bar and all of that here. So we get a little bit of a glimpse of what it looked like here, the chandeliers, all the stuff he talks about. So the article is really neat. Work on the courthouse, or at the courthouse over there, continues in the off-season, and you're all welcome to visit on Wednesdays. Come by Wednesday too. We will find something for you to do. Cleaning, volunteering, cataloging, whatever. I want to let you know that the society is financially stable. We're up to date with all of our non-status or non-profit status things, so that's always good. Our membership is strong. We have significant traffic on our website, quite a bit. We had this meeting in the Newport News Now emails that went out, and that brought a lot of traffic from that, so we appreciate that. I want to thank Mr. J. Ward for his filming and things. I guess I am. And we are planning to put links on our website so you can go back and watch our meetings if you missed one or whatever. So that should be coming in the next month or so. And on a somber note, we acknowledge the passing of Sharon Mentor's sister, Brenda Quill. Brenda and Walter sat at the table back here all the time. It's sad that she's gone. She was a regular attendee. I'm sure Walter's mourning her loss pretty bad. Sharon as well. We will miss her cheerful demeanor, her warm smile. Lastly, please remember this is our last event of this season. And this one today, if you know, is a bonus. We don't have meetings in December, usually because it's cold. So we'll be back, resume after winter, after all the bad weather, March 18, 2026. So we're excited to turn the floor over today to our speaker and unofficially kick off our 2026 season because his program aligns with what we're doing next year as well. So we will celebrate next year our nation's 250 years of independence. And without further ado, Mary Kay will introduce our speaker.
Our speaker today, Michael Steen, raise your hand, although he's pretty obvious because he's dressed very differently from the rest of us. You may recall that he was with us in 2022. He was our first speaker when we came back from COVID. And so he was very popular. We were all anxious to get back into our normal routines. And he talked to us about the shipwrecks of Yorktown. And as I say, he was just amazing. So he's back again. And he volunteered to do this one. I didn't have to go out and look for him. Although by coincidence, I did happen to run into him a few weeks ago. As most of you know, this is the 250th anniversary, and next year, in the next several years, of the American Revolution. So he's doing many, many programs on that topic. Without my notes, I'm just going to try to remember off the top of my head some of his many, many accomplishments. First off, for sure, he's the education director of the Warwick Museum in Yorktown. He has degrees, or has studied from a little bit of everywhere. I know VMI, or that was one of them. VIMS. You also do scientific research, if I recall. He goes down many, many, many paths, but his specialty, or at least for us, is the interpretation of 17th, 18th, and 19th military history. So as I said, I saw him a couple of weeks ago while attending the anniversary of the Battle of Great Bridge in Chesapeake, and he looked pretty much like he does now. And we were very excited to have him here. He's part of a committee that is creating a series of panels and talks and publications and markers, I think. Is that right, Michael? That will interpret the American Revolution in Virginia over that period of time. But today, he's here specifically to talk about one individual whose name, if you don't know this, you just give it up. You're clueless when it comes to American history. And that is Benedict Arnold, that bad boy, traitor, whatever you want to call him, but also rock star of the American Revolution, because he was on both sides. And in fact, Michael has created a Benedict Arnold Rockstar Tour, and we are stop number 1. And if anyone wants to know the other stops, if I ever can find the notes, there are like 4 or 5 others. The Warwick County Museum, I believe, is the next one coming up, and they're going to talk about a small episode that occurred there where Arnold made an incursion and inflicted a little damage. But I'm not going to go on and on about Michael. If you want to know more about his education, just ask him, and eventually I'll find the notes and we can put it in the newsletter or something. Michael, come on up and tell us about Benedict Arnold, please. Thank you for being with us.
And I talk real loud, so I would like to walk around as well. So I'll be talking from here most of the time. A good song that fits what we're coming into. It's a colonial song that was written toward the end of the American Revolution. But it goes, come on, my hearts of tempered steel, leave your girls and farms, your courts and plays and holidays, and hark away to arms. So fare thee well, you sweethearts, you smiling girls adieu, and when the war is over, we'll kiss it out with you. Virginia's in the middle of it all. Over down south, the war starts here. Okay, and actually, for 2025, this is the anniversary of 1775. We're smack in the middle of the Dunmore campaign right now, which is what we've been celebrating with programming. And we were just at the Battle of Great Bridge back on the 9th of December. And so Dunmore loses the Great Bridge, and then they were about to burn Norfolk on January 1st. So look for the news at 11. Norfolk burns. Dunmore does leave in July of '76. And for the most part, the war doesn't come back down here until 79. England's always concerned about us because Virginia, well, who is the largest colony? Who has the largest population base? Who supplies the Continental Army with all of their food and supplies? Virginia. Yeah. And being smack in the middle of the coast, we are concerned to the British. Most of the war takes place up north. The British control New York, so New York is the center point here. However, there's now the campaign moves down south, and the British think that the southern states are still loyal, will come up to the loyal standard, so they can move the campaign down to the Carolinas. They think the Carolinas are going to rally to the British cause, being full of loyalists. So Virginia's here in the middle. Virginia is supplying all of the continental supplies to General Greene down south. So they can bust up Virginia and cut the coastline in half. They believe they can win the war. Plus, how does one make money in the colonial days? What's the primary money maker? Tobacco. Who's the largest producer of tobacco? How are we paying the French for all their support? With tobacco. So they can raid here and destroy the tobacco supplies and capture it even better. Then they are going to have the French very angry because we can't pay them the money we promised them. We're not doing it on their own gracious accord. Okay. So 79 is sent in Collier. Collier comes in and does a raid of the Hampton Roads region. He burns most of Suffolk, captures 120 ships, and 2,000 escaped slaves join him, etc. A big production piece for about a month and a half, destroying Suffolk. 1780, they send in General Leslie. And Leslie comes into the Hampton Roads area, and he also starts attacking and destroying things. He's only here for about a month, and Leslie's forced to leave down to support of Cornwallis down to South Carolina. So we have two big raids come in, and when those British ships arrive in Hampton Roads, every militiaman is called out. Everybody that can carry anything, a broom, is called out to defend Virginia. We do have some continental trained soldiers in Virginia, only about 1,000 of them. So we train them up real fast. The training base is in Chesterfield Courthouse. Okay, that is the rebel base. You want to do Star Wars references. But as soon as we train men how to fight, to put them in a uniform, we send them down south. So there are no standing army groups here in Virginia. We're still relying primarily on militia to defend us. So those British warships come rolling in, everybody, including Jay, has to show up with his best firing equipment to defend him. Okay? So Collier was real quick, very destructive. Leslie, not quite as destructive. He had to leave early. So they want to keep on pushing that wedge in here. So that's where this gentleman comes in. So I call it the rock star tour. I've even made it some posters. Because that's what this is. He's looking for fame and fortune. I remind him of a Nickelback song. It comes to my head constantly. And we all just want to be big rock stars. Hilltop house driving 13 cars. Yeah. Think about Benedict Arnold's early life. He's a member of the Sons of Liberty. And he's one of the founding members of the Sons of Liberty of New England. He take his own money to support these illustrious campaigns. Ticonderoga, 75. It's his idea to attack Ticonderoga and take it from the British. He leads, goes up there, he pays for the troops, he pays for the food. He actually captured Ticonderoga, but he doesn't get credit for it. They give the credit to some other local politicians.
That's a sticky point for him too.
Yeah, sticking point. He takes that bill and puts it on the stack. Quebec, September 75. He goes, if we attack Canada, Canada will join our side. Because they don't like the British up there. Ooh, nice try. We attack Quebec. Actually, he charges the gates of Quebec by himself. He's leading the charge, but the men don't follow him. He gets to the gate and, he's wounded in the leg at Quebec. So we don't do well in Quebec. Montreal is the next target. We do take Montreal, and for a while there, Mr. Benedict Arnold is the governor of Montreal. But again, Canadians don't like us. They kick us out of Canada pretty quickly in April 76. The British Army is about to attack. It's coming out of Canada. It's going to invade New England across the lakes. We have to stop them. So someone steps forward and pays to have 12 ships made. The best admiral on the American side. Who's that? Nice try, sir. It's Benedict Arnold again. Best admiral on the American side. He has 12 gunboats built, and he puts his gunboat fleet across the lakes at Valcour Island, and he stops the British invasion from Canada. Now, all his boats were sunk, but because the British couldn't press through, they go back to Canada, and the Second Army coming out of Canada does not come into New England. So actually, good job, Benedict Arnold. If we had two armies coming into New England from two sides hitting what a small continental force, it wouldn't be here still, right? It would have been a big pinch. So, Valcour Island, yeah, Ridgefield, Stanwick, okay, small skirmish type battles, but he's leadership on the American side to win these two small battles. However, he was at Stanwick. He's complaining to Congress. He's going, pay my bills, pay my bills. Here's the receipts, pay my bills. And Congress, of course, has no money, so they say, no, your fault. You shouldn't have paid the first part. So he's been chastised. To come to Saratoga, he's been told, he's been literally put in charge of the reserves. I'm told, don't advance. Stay in the back, just in case. And the British are about to win at Saratoga. We have lost the Battle of Saratoga. And someone charges from the flank and hits the British by surprise. Who leads that charge? Benedict Arnold. Broke rules, but he charges the side. And having been outflanked, the British Army surrenders at Saratoga. The New England Army surrenders. Massive victory for the Americans. It's one of our only victories of any size. He got shot in the leg at Saratoga, too. So he's been wounded twice. He will be walking with a cane the rest of his life. But I slapped his wrist. He was told not to advance. There's staying orders. So, again, another thing to add to the list of problems. Since he's wounded, when the British pull out of Philadelphia, they put him in as the governor in Philadelphia, the military governor. So while he's recuperating from his wounds at Saratoga, he's now in charge of a newly freed city. Got a problem in Philadelphia though. See, his wife died back in '79, or about a year and a half earlier. And while he wants to be the man on top, he wants to be the rock star. He's done all this stuff for the colonies. He's helped everybody. He's won all the battles. He hasn't got any credit for what he's done. He's had his wrist slapped instead. He says, I should be a major general. I should be in charge of all this. I go, no, you slapped your wrist, so we're not going to make you a major general. But we'll make you governor of Philadelphia. What about those bills he wants paid by Congress? All that money he's put into the war effort. Congress goes, no, we're not going to pay those. So while in Philadelphia, he started looking around. He sees all the wealthy people in Philadelphia. And he starts rubbing elbows with them and becoming part of it. He goes, wow, these people live really, really well. They eat lots of food, socialize, parties all the time. Of course, that group in Philadelphia are loyalists. But, so he's going to the parties. He's thinking, I can do this would be great. If they pay my bills, I can move up in society. And across the room, he sees a beautiful young lady. The prettiest girl in Philadelphia. He falls deeply in love with Peggy Shipman. She is the girl that everybody else has been dating too. She's been dating the British officers as well as the American officers. She is the girl. So Mr. Benedict Arnold somehow wins Peggy Shipman. And they get married in Philadelphia. So now he's married into a loyalist family. A girl who is much, much younger than him. He's 39, and she's just barely 20, so she's a younger girl. He's 39. What's happening to Arnold? What's he going through right now? He's at his midlife crisis. Oh no!
You should have bought a sports horse.
Oh no! He's married a younger girl. Oh, he's probably buying sports cars too. This is what we do. We reach 40. Oh! And the new younger wife wants things. She's come from a wealthy family, but she wants stuff. He needs money. Congress, pay me my bills so I can buy things for my wife. Come on! Congress goes, no, it won't. So, Miss Peggy Shipman also knows the folks involved with the British command. And Major Andre, who is the adjutant to General Clinton, the overall British commander, is a personal friend of Peggy Shipman. So Peggy hooks up Arnold with Andre, and they start negotiations. He's going to change sides. Because he needs his bills paid. The British said, we'll pay your bills. We'll make you a major general. Okay? We will raise you up to the top there to be part of the highest part of society. You're now becoming the man you want to be. Just before he turns 40. Younger wife, new promotion, new job. This all sounds very familiar. We've been through this. So, we go from we call the Benny A. American Rock Star Tour. He was so fabulous, and he was the top. He won all the battles. He was the man. He was the best general. And now, Washington does recognize that. So Washington is going to, when he moves him to Philadelphia, moves him to West Point, puts him in charge of West Point, which is the biggest military installation up north. He's about to offer him second in command of the Continental Army. Okay, he's been talking about Andre. The British have lured him over. So Washington's en route to West Point to offer him second in command of the Continental Army, and they happen to have caught Andre in civilian clothes heading back to the British lines. In Andre's boot is a copy of the plans of West Point that he has supposedly gotten from Arnold. Upon hearing that they've captured Andre, Arnold gets a fast, small boat and leaves West Point. Washington's en route now to arrest him, and Arnold escapes. A lot of modern historians say that may not have been what really happened, okay? Because Arnold's pretty smart. Andre's smarter. They're not going to wrap this plan for West Point around a cigar and shove it at the top of someone's boots. So was that planted? A lot of modern stories say it was probably planted by Arnold's political enemies. Was he talking to Andre and negotiating selling West Point? Yes, he was. So there you go. To New York he goes, and he starts his second tour, which we call the Black Star Tour. A picture of Adam Ant.
Do you have t-shirts for this?
We're going to get out there. We're going to be the best British general there is everywhere. So Clinton has the idea. Collier was good, but didn't get far enough inland. Leslie wasn't there long enough to do what was needed. We need to send in somebody else. We're going to send in Major General Benedict Arnold. He captures Virginia. His first command as a British officer. He has several goals. He's supposed to disrupt supply lines, all that tobacco stuff, all of that equipment going down south of Green and up north to Washington. Capture Richmond, the brand new capital. The capital moved from Williamsburg to Richmond in April of 1780. Capture Jefferson and other signers of the Declaration on the top list here. And recruit more loyalist volunteers, as well as to wave the flag, so all the loyalists in Virginia will come rallying to him. But he's been told not to disrupt too much. Don't burn things. Don't destroy things. Don't anger anybody, because if you start angering people and getting out of hand, then the loyalists won't flock to you. Okay, so, with him is 1,600 men coming in, and he's the 80th Regiment of Foot, Scottish soldiers, about 600 men there. This is a questionable unit. This is a mutiny unit from Edinburgh. They had literally refused to get on the boat to come fight in America. In response, they took away their kilts, took away all their Scottish stuff, made them wear long pants. So embarrassing. And they send them to America anyway. So they're here. Queen's Rangers from Canada are here too. And we have Hessian Jaegers, about 100 of them coming in. And Benedict Arnold's own private regiment. He's been recruiting men in New York for the Loyal American Regiment. These are all loyalists that are going to have signed up to fight the British. A lot of them people who have deserted from the American ranks to join the British. So they're coming down here also. 80th you'll recognize. They're wearing red coats with white faces. Pretty standard. Queen's Rangers. They're from Canada. They're a little different. So that's it. Queen's Rangers are wearing short jackets. They are what we call in the modern army the Green Berets. Rogers Rangers from the French Indian War. They are professional light infantry. They're trained to fight in the woods, all that kind of stuff.
That's a good color on your Mark.
He's wearing green.
Good color.
Even though I'm Scott.
It's okay. Well, there's a lot of Scots up there in Canada too. Hessians.
Jaegers.
Hessians are wearing green with red.
There you go.
They have their fancy hats.
Perfect.
There you go. There's a Hessian. The Loyal American Regiment also wearing the exact same coat. Green coats with red faces. Green is the typical color worn by the Loyalist troops. Okay. However, look at these buttons very closely. You realize that, oh, she's not a Jaeger. What did she say? This is a Marine regimental code, actually. Yeah, so the American Marines are also wearing green and red. And the Germans fighting with the American side are wearing green and red. And there are different continental units that wear green and red. So it's kind of, you've got to be close enough to see the buttons to realize who's actually
Merry Christmas.
And the militia have shown up. Because as soon as Arnold arrives in the bay, the governor says all militia must show up. Who's the governor in 1780?
Thomas Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson. The writer. Not very good military guy, but a good writer. So, here we are. 1,600 men. Coming in, the fleet coming out of New York is scattered a little bit. About a third of the troops have been separated. They're going to come in later. Okay. Just jump forward one. Don't skip that one. Okay, so Arnold decides he's not going to wait for his men, those ships to arrive. He's going to press forward and try to catch Virginia off guard. Yeah, so he goes right past Portsmouth and he starts coming up the river. And his first stop is he's not sure where the Americans are
But there's a
or what
war.
force they're in.
There's a Warwick and Chesterfield County
Well, this is the one here.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. He's come up the James River. Before he stops at Warwick, he captures 20 ships. Small sloops and such. So he's going to leave his big transport ships down at the mouth of James. He transfers all of his men over onto the smaller boats and the bateaus so they can come up the river faster. So, but he needs to find out where everybody is. How many militiamen are out? Has someone actually warned them? Are they massing somewhere? So we need to capture some locals. What will you find? So, here there are militia forming at Warwick. Okay. So he says we need to get some of those guys. If we can catch 4 or 5 of them, they'll know everything. They'll tell us all about it. They'll warn us what's going to happen. So he looks to the Jaegers, and He tells the commander of the Jaegers, Johann Uwald, I'm going to land you, and you're going to charge up that hill and capture it. They're on top of the hill there.
Right, you can do that.
Mr. Ewald looks at Arnold and goes, you're crazy. You want us to charge up a hill into rifle fire? And we're the Jaegers. They're riflemen. So they're carrying smaller weapons. It takes a little longer to load a rifle. They also don't have any bayonets to use. The Jaegers carry short rifles and swords. So the Jaegers first thought, oh, if I charge up there, they're going to turn this into mincemeat with those rifles. When we get there, we can't attack them, we're fighting. Arnold goes, go ahead, do it anyway. I'm in charge. So he lands, about 40 Jaegers, and they get on the beach and charge up that hill into the rifle fire. The Americans fire one volley, and classic militia move, retreat. They retreat. Better run away as fast as possible. So, they do capture one of the militia, so they do get some information about it. And the 100 militiamen who were here are dispersed. They take off into the hinterlands. Here there are a larger force of militia at Jamestown Island waiting. That they're and Thomas Nelson Jr. is raising all the troops to come in this direction. Okay, so we got some information. Jaegers are back on board. Arnold's going to use these small boats to do fast maneuvers and fast attacks. Instead of trying to march overland, which takes forever around here, because you've got to go around all of the necks and past the creeks, he's going to go up river on boats. Okay, went to Jamestown. So we get off of Jamestown, that's the big port of the James River, got docks there and such. We know the militia's waiting for them, so we're right past Jamestown. On to the next thing. So, Westover, it's interesting, owned by the Birds, famous Virginia family. Mrs. Bird is the cousin to Peggy Shippen. So they're relatives. They stopped there, and she actually, they disembarked their men at Westover, and Miss Shippen, Miss Bird, feeds them breakfast and then entertains the British officers. Gives them horses. This is where the campaign starts. Change. Now we have horses. The Queen's Rangers are now mounted infantry. Because now you got horses to ride. And they're ready to go. Okay. January 4th, they leave Westover. Okay. So Jefferson is in Richmond. They're coming. They're only a day away. He literally evacuates. He takes all the papers, everything that he thinks is worthwhile, and he goes up to Westham and starts moving across to Manchester, trying to save things. He says, militia, protect Richmond, I'm going. Off he goes across the river. So on the 5th, they stopped halfway to Richmond and camped overnight. And he's been told not to disrupt too much or get anybody angry, so he's moving slowly on Richmond. On the 5th, he attacks Richmond. He comes up, imagine being in Richmond on Route 5, coming up that back of Chimborazo Hill on the big plateau of St. John's Churches. That's the battlefield that takes place. There are 200 militiamen, about 30 men on horseback as well. up there, and the British fire one round, and and they scatter, and go running back down into Chocolate Run. So pretty much they take Richmond without a fight, right on top of the hill. And then they start taking things apart. This is where it gets a little bit more. Mr. Ewald describes this like a piratical raid. They are taking food, they're burning things, they are causing havoc. Mr. Arnold sends a letter to Jefferson, who's right across the river in Manchester, says, if you surrender all the tobacco and goods, we won't burn the town. We'll just take our tobacco and leave. What does Jefferson say? No, take it like I don't deal with traitors. Arnold goes, okay. He said, you refuse to deal. Yeah. So from City Tavern, there at 9th Street, he tells his men to go out and start destroying things. So they burn all the warehouses on the waterfront. They take 42 ships worth of tobacco and stuff and load them up to go back down the river. They take all the rum. And they start burning houses indiscriminately. But not burning all the houses, just ones that don't belong to rebels. Note, he's been told not to disrupt everything. So he's not going to burn the whole town. He's burning houses. Of course, this is all still British property, right? If you burn everything, you're destroying British property. Because when the rebels leave, the British are going to come in and set the government here at some point. Again, all the valuables, all the tobacco, everything that could be carried away are loaded onto those tobacco barges and sent down. Okay, now the militia has arrived on the Manchester side, so the British can't cross over into Manchester and destroy Manchester. So that's one good thing. But but still, no American forces on the on the Richmond side of the river. So the British are free to do whatever they want. Now, the other target is to destroy production facilities. Just 6 miles above Richmond is west of the boundary. It's making cannonballs. It's actually made some cannons. It's where all the gunpowder's stored. So, yeah, he sent police rangers up there, and they destroy Weston. They burn it to the ground. So hold my beer. Hold my beer. That's right, hold my beer. I'm going up here to destroy the cannon. Like 700 pounds of gunpowder dumped in the James River. Cannons broken, cannons destroyed, muskets broken, and the whole thing lit on fire and burned. Okay, and so we've done our job in Richmond. Didn't capture Jefferson, but he's right across the river watching it all happen. They'll come back and haunt him later. They will accuse Jefferson of abandoning his post as governor and letting Richmond be captured without fight. They blame him for that. But the militia are gathering. A big force in Manchester. So Mr. Arnold decides it's time to leave. We've done our job. We've gotten everything worth taking, and now we're going back down, heading back down to Portsmouth. But on the way to Portsmouth, they are stopping everywhere they need to by the water to disrupt the gathering forces. At Charles City Courthouse on January 8th, they hear there's a whole bunch of militiamen gathering there, not sure exactly where they are. So we're going to send police rangers, about 40 guys, mounted out to reconnoiter. And they come across this one scent wall around 5 and says, halt! 40 riders overtaken very quickly. And after a little coercion, he gives them the password. That one gentleman also had with him a captured, escaped slave. who willingly says they will lead Queens Rangers to the courthouse. Show them the back road today. So these 40 mounted Queens Rangers are coming up the back road of the courthouse. They see two more guards. The one guard's immediately knocked off his horse and knocked out. The other one they're wrestling with, he breaks away and fires his weapon in the air to warn the folks at the courthouse that the British are coming. So at midnight, these 40 mounted Queens Rangers charge toward the courthouse and run into about 120 militia. Well outnumbered, but General Simcoe, he's smart. He sends his two buglers over to the right. So you go over there in the darkness. On my command, you sound those bugles. And he says, as they're coming up, the Americans are shooting in all directions, just bullets flying everywhere. He says, light up the trees, sound for the advance. Thinking they've been outmaneuvered, the Americans
Run away.
run away. We get courthouse. Flowerdew 100 is the next stop down the road. There is a fortification on the water. It's called Fort Hood. They're sitting there on the point. There was called Fort Pocahontas, just below Flowerdew 100. And on the way in, they get shot at by cannons there. So on the way back out, they're going to remove Fort Hood. Land at Flowerdew, small band of militia meets them. British fire one volley and the militia.
Run away.
Fort Hood, they then destroy Fort Hood. They bust the cannons up, they spike them. And on the 11th, he's going to continue on down the river from the upper part of Virginia. Smithfield. There are troops at Smithfield, massing. So he lands his men on January 14th. How old is Benedict Arnold? He's 39. He turns 40 on January 14th. Yes, he is. Hit that mark. But again, the militia put up a small fight there. They fired 2 or 3 volleys at Macy's Mill. And the British overrun them, and the militia runs away. So Portsmouth. He's at Portsmouth. His other major goal is to fortify Portsmouth and turn it back into a military base. That's where Gosport shipyard is. Before the war starts, Gosport is the British Naval Resupply Station. It's the biggest shipyard in the lower Chesapeake, well, pretty much the whole Chesapeake Bay. It was burnt by the rebels back in January 76. So he's supposed to rebuild Portsmouth as a naval base, something Collier and Leslie had not done. He's supposed to build fortifications and to make it into a solid position that the British can work their navy out of. He builds 4 forts in Portsmouth, major installations. Dunmore had lost at the Battle of Great Bridge, so he's also going to rebuild Fort Murray down at Great Bridge. His men build a massive start fort at Great Bridge. Great Bridge is the path through the Dismal Swamp. It's the only road that comes from North Carolina into Tidewater, Virginia. And it goes to an island, and they built a bridge over the swamp. So we're going to put this big, massive star fort at Great Bridge so we can control Southside Virginia and control the access from Carolina. So, yeah, he's built 5 fortifications in less than a month. His men are working hard. And he has done everything he's supposed to do, except capture Jefferson. So he has done everything that his boss wants him to do. And then on March 27th, they send in General Post to take over. Does anybody trust Arnold, really? No, they don't. Not at this point. Although he has once again proved to be the best general and the best commander, and has done everything he's supposed to do, they're going to bring in someone else to put it. No respect for the Americans, no respect for the British. But, no, Phillips is important. Phillips was captured at Saratoga. He is the highest ranking British artillery officer in North America. So he was captured at Saratoga. All the prisoners from Saratoga were sent down to Virginia in concentration camps up around Charlottesville. As an officer on parole, swearing, promising he will not attack anybody or anything weird, he's been allowed to wander all over Virginia. He's had lunch with Jefferson. He's had lunch at Mount Vernon. He's been everywhere. He knows all about Virginia, which is why probably why we're going to send him in here in April with 2,000 more soldiers. So he takes over, and that will become the next campaign, Phillips campaign. But, so Arnold, so glorious for the Americans. Did everything right, but got no credit. Midlife crisis? Maybe, yeah, probably. He's going to switch sides. New job, new office, new shiny clothes, new shiny car, young wife. Oh yeah, all the things you need when you turn 40. And he was an incredible officer for the British Army also. This is the one campaign he's actually in charge of. He did everything he's supposed to. And they did capture one of the Bushmen of Richmond, and they asked the Bushman, what do you think about Arnold? The Bushman responded, we will pin a medal on the leg that was wounded at Saratoga and hang the rest.
So clever.
Yeah, so there it is. So, what we have here, this is the beginning of, we call it the Rockstar Tour. There are a whole bunch of programs lined up coming up. Well, this is actually the second in the trail series. We did the Dunmore Trail. That's 14 sites working together. We combined all 14 sites involved in the Dunmore campaign into a massive collaboration program. That's called the Virginia Airport Trail System. So we've organized a new trail system, kind of like Civil War trails, the idea of Civil War trails, except this one doesn't cost any money for the sites who are involved. We have the map piece. That map piece lists all the sites with a brief description. More importantly, the map also has hyperlinks back to the sites. So if someone wants to find out about Great Bridge, contact Great Bridge. They have more information than I could ever write down on a piece of paper. So you have an electronic system that you can dial into and follow. There are actual map pieces you can take in your car with you and go around site to site. We're doing the same thing for Arnold, for the Arnold campaign. This also is 14 sites that will be linked together, collectively. And Warwick is the first one on the top of the map.
Where were they stopping in Warwick?
That's right.
Where were they stopping? Riverview Farm Park?
Correct. So that's what we need to find out next. Thanks. Oh, our archaeologists, yay! They can help out. We need to pinpoint exactly where this took place. Okay, that's the next step. So we can document it further. Okay. A small podcast of some kind about all the site on the spot where it happened. Mr. Aaron Burr will say, got to be on the spot where it happened. We're in the room. Okay, so this is the series. So this is the first one of the series for this year. On the 10th is the National Park Service tour of Chimborazo, talking about the battle from 5th. And on the 16th is a lunch and learn program down in Smithfield. This has been an annual program they've done for the last 6 years. So it's going to include programs that are already there into the system, as well as helping other people invent new things too. So we're going to do a program at Charles City Courthouse on the 22nd of January, talking about January 8th. And we're doing a program at Weston, the this case here, it's Wilton House. Wilton House was moved up there into the Tuckahoe neighborhood way back in the 30s, and it overlooks the play area where the West End Foundry would be. So we're going to do a whole lecture education program for Wilton House as well. And one more to be announced, we've not done set up yet. There'll be a program in February down at Great Creation talking about Arnold's Star Fort and how to build fortifications as well. So the idea is to link all of our friends together and develop programs that can be linked together so that we can give this piece of paper to all of the sites involved and all the counties who want to promote it. York County has parts up on their website. They only do pieces parts for me. But the 250 will have this posted, and we'll have this posted on the 1781 Foundation site as well. So, stuff coming. We're also working on the Phillips campaign. That's the third link in this chain. Another 14 sites to include Petersburg and Manchester. And then we have someone else working on the Cornwallis campaign. My friends from Chesterfield are working on that. That's 45 sites linked together.
Do you teach the history of the Hope Pot plantation in Fairfax County, Virginia, attached to this story, Benjamin, this story, George Washington, Jefferson, and all that stuff? Do you teach about Hope Pot plantation?
Not offhand. Always be fun to do.
Well, we should, and I also willing to tell the story of the Smith Dairy Farm that's on Colonial Parkway in Williamsburg.
Oh, yeah.
We still operate the farm. They milk the cows every day at 3 o'clock.
Used to drive past them every day.
Every day at 3 o'clock. So it'll be my honor and my pleasure to introduce you to them and to see how we can participate in this story. And thank you, Mark, for inviting us and Miriam.
Yeah, by all means. By all means.
We appreciate you.
Yeah. We've been doing the Dunmore, just finished a whole lecture series on Dunmore's proclamation.
Wow.
So that's the other part. We're doing education programming, we're reaching out to school systems to go and teach the fourth graders local history. So the fourth graders are Newport News. Guess what battle is going to be the highlight of the classroom program?
Battle
It's going to be
of
Warwick.
Well, it's true.
Newport News.
Do we have a map? Do we have a map?
A map?
A map, right?
Yes. I saw the first copy yesterday, so I sent it back in for edits. Yes.
To be fourth graders that learn that there ever was a Warwick County.
Yes, that too. Well, that is, in order to make history important, you have to be able to relate to it. Right? If you are in York County, Yorktown's the obvious choice. But most people don't realize the routes it took to get to Yorktown and cut through the rest of the county. If you're in Williamsburg, you got to teach kids about Green Spring. Right? That's the big battle in the middle of James City County. Right there by Jamestown. Okay, if they're here, skirmish at Warwick becomes an important thing because they know the name Warwick. It's very similar. If they can relate the American Revolution to something that happens in their backyard, it then becomes a little more important. Right? And the plantation's great about that. A place that people drive by all the time, but no one knows the history of the plantation growing around.
Well, most of them do. See, in this town, after 1958, they just told a story, right?
Yeah, right.
And Hampton woke up in the middle of the night and they don't want to talk about Peoples no more, right? So it's our job to connect these stories, right? That's why I come, right?
We need to put them all together.
And they are together if we tell a story. So there is a book, it's called The Centennial History of Newport News.
Okay.
That book is over at the War Memorial Museum.
Okay.
I'm going to get your information.
Nice.
And what we're going to do the next 2 years, we're going to connect these stories together without color, right?
There you go.
And we're going to make sure that we are affiliated with the American Legion Post 25
Right.
on Marshall Avenue. They are the one that sponsors the war memorial thing. So we can tell our own story. Thank you. This is the best. You're the best.
That's fine, we have to mix our stories together.
You're the best. To tell the truth, and it's hard for us to find a way to bring the stories together with love as opposed to trying to make one. Right.
So,
Good job.
thank you. So, Austin, I'm the chair of the 250 from York County, amongst other things. So, the idea is to expand beyond York County, at least on the education level. I'm trying to bring in Newport News, James City County, Gloucester, work with the schools. The idea is trying to work with everybody else too. We've been doing a whole lecture series starting back in 22 on the Virginia Bill of Rights, the origins of the Bill of Rights. So next spring, we'll get a date. We're doing a big lecture program on Virginia Bill of Rights, which we call Common Sense, the American Bill of Rights. And we'll bring it in. Next fall will be one on the Virginia Constitution. The anniversary of the Bill of Rights is next June 12th. So we're doing a big promotional education campaign heading to June 12th. We want everybody. So we'll send it on.
You have more questions?
Yeah, real quick. So was there a time when the militia didn't run away? Probably not.
When their support is so well worked out, the Continental Army has highlights, high water marks. But it's like 2 high water marks in the Southern Campaign, 2 high water marks in the Northern Campaign. Yeah, but most of the war, we're just not ready to do much against the trains. Now, Great Bridge, a good example of the militia coming up to meet the British. The British charged across that bridge, had taken to that, got within 4 steps of American fortification, where they were forced to withdraw. And the militia riflemen on both sides, their flanks, peppered them all the way back. They lost over 100 men. It's the largest body count in the Union. The Battle of Great Bridge on December 9th. So yes, and that does show Virginia that the militia and the riflemen can be enforced directly. And they will win Hampton, October 75. They're going to Great Bridge in December of 75. And they will win again at Wins Island in July of 76. So it's there.
What did they do to benefit Arnold after the war was over? And did they find him and what happened?
He goes back to England.
He did?
Yeah. And he dies in England. He goes back and petitions to have his money given to him. You know, he's retired. He never got, they gave him some upfront money. They gave him sign-on bonus. But never actually paid off his debts.
Why did you go with them?
Yes. And he will go back to England. But he will die in infamy over in England. He got problems. When Clinton sent him down here, he sent Simcoe in charge of the Rangers, and Dundas in charge of the Avian. They all had brevet generalships in their pocket. They were colonels. But if Arnold messed up, they were supposed to pull out their papers and trump them. When the war is over, Simcoe is the governor of Canada. Dundas, wealthy family, is in Parliament over in England. So when Arnold petitions Parliament to get back pay and get his severance, get his stipend, Dundas makes sure that he doesn't get it.
Cookie didn't.
He just tired military. No job, but I know it once he finishes up here. His wife go back to England. Yeah. The loyalist family just goes over to England. So maybe he's living off his father-in-law's money in England as well. It's good to very well. But
Do you know who the person was they called in Warwick County? Do they know who the person was they called in Warwick County, the one militia?
what the name is, just someone that they have. Again, more things to search out. It's got, the information's got to be there somewhere. On a post.
I mean, now we're getting to know today.
Thank you very much.
Michael, we hope you will have some shirts later for the promotional tour.
So, I'm sure.
We're going to do a raffle